Welcome to this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings, a student-run news program. I'm your host, Ryan French.
And I'm Elizabeth Williams. This month, we looked at nationwide and local holidays and how they are being celebrated.
How schools are preparing for the 2021 to 2022 school year.
And a behind-the-scenes look at theater production. All this and more
on this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings.
Every year, elementary schools have a Valentine's Day celebration. But this year with COVID, it looked a little bit different.
COVID-19 has affected many different areas, especially in school, such as a simple tradition of Valentine's Day is looking a little different this year. There were some changes that were made to the elementary school's traditional Valentine's Day festivities due to COVID-19.
We usually have a party where parents come in and they plan activities and we have a snack. This year we couldn't have parents come in and we couldn't have a snack.
Just like Miss Pipkin just asked us to get up and she called on us to hand them out.
We couldn't eat any candy in class because we had to keep our masks up.
We just kind of handed out Valentines and that was pretty much it.
The students also took extra precautions to keep the exchanging of Valentines as safe as possible.
Before they handed them out, they needed to wash their hands and just a few people at a time.
When we passed Valentines out, instead of doing it all together, we did it individually.
We did have to quarantine our Valentines. We had to bring them in a little bit earlier than normal.
So when we made our Valentine's bag, we usually just make them the day of, but we made the Valentine's bags a lot before then because we wanted to make sure that they were all safe and stuff.
These children made a good time out of this different situation.
Be thankful. It's not candy.
They love Valentine's Day. They like anything that's different and special.
Even though it's different this year, was it still fun? Did you enjoy it still?
Yeah, it was still nice.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was fun. This year it was kind of annoying because we didn't get to eat candy while we were in school. But that's the least of the problems. At least we're here being able to do it. I always enjoy it. I think it's a pretty fun thing to do.
So even though it wasn't normal, it was still something different and special for them to do.
And then you will get your quarantine goodies from the top and hand them out to everyone.
The staff at Roarstown Elementary School shares a common goal this Valentine's Day.
I think we are trying to keep it as normal as possible as we can this year, so even just that they got to give and get Valentines, I think was a good thing.
Even though the traditional Valentine's Day in elementary schools has been modified this year, COVID-19 could not take it fully away from the kids. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Morgan Wilfong.
Fat Tuesday is the feast day before Ash Wednesday, where people go out, eat, and have a good time. But Pennsylvanians have put their own little twist on this national holiday.
Lancaster County is known for its very fresh Fasnacht, but how did it come to be?
Weiser's Market is a small grocery store off of Route 501 in Lidditz. That might not seem like a lot on the outside, but on the inside is a baker's delight. Barbara Kreider, the store's bakery manager, talks about how over 7,000 Fasnachts are made in 1 month.
We use a special formula. It's a special mix that we do, and then we add potatoes and sugar and yeast and mace, which is the outer part of the nutmeg. What we do is we start with the mix, which I'll show you then. I'm ready to put in the potato flakes, the mace, and the sugar into the mix. And then we would add hot water to that and let it mix for about 10 minutes in our big mixer. After that, it rises for approximately 2 hours. After that 2 hours, then we take it over to our roller. And one person's on one side and makes balls and sends them through the sheeter, and the other person's on the other side and cuts the rounds out.
Fasnachts are fried at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for exactly 32 seconds on each side. The brown coating is due to the sugar that is inside the donut. Fasnachts can also be topped with different garnishes.
We top ours with either powdered sugar, which you see here, granulated sugar, cinnamon sugar, or just plain. And then when you cut it open, this is a Pennsylvania Dutch thing, when you cut it open you put king syrup or turkey syrup on the inside of it.
Frau Henrich, a German teacher at Hempfield High School, talks about Fasnacht's history and origin.
The donuts themselves are an excuse for Germans to empty out all the unhealthy foods from their pantry so that over the course of Lent, they're not tempted to eat the fatty foods, the sugars, so they can prepare themselves for Easter. So the actual word Fasnacht, if you break it apart in German, Fas comes from the verb fasten, which means to fast, and then Nacht is the evening. So Fasnacht is the evening before you start to fast.
Students at Hempfield High School get the opportunity to partake in this German holiday.
I know in the middle school, Herr Janata actually brings in Fasnachts for his students. Unfortunately, here at the high school, we have a lot more students than he does, so we don't bring them to classes, but German Club will be having Fasnachts.
Fasnachts can be found at local farmers markets and grocery stores year-round. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Maguire Eunice.
The Hempfield Middle School started a One Book, One School project, where all students read the same book. They are reading Free Lunch by Rex Ogle. Not only has this brought the school closer together, but it has also taught the students and staff several important lessons.
Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." The middle schools here at Hempfield have shown that by far. I went to Lansdale Middle School, where they have joined together to read Free Lunch by Rex Ogle.
This book in particular teaches empathy for a situation that hopefully a lot of kids don't have to be exposed to. The character in the book faces a lot of poverty and abuse, and it was a good opportunity for the kids to step outside of their own shoes into the shoes of another.
Although this book teaches many important lessons, it also brings emotion to some readers with its intense content.
And when they found out that Rex Ogle wrote this as an autobiography, that this was his real life, I think that really stuck with the kids. So.
Oh my God, I just got so angry at that point.
Rex Ogle is now an incredibly popular author. Prior to writing his own autobiography, he had been an editor for a bunch of the really big publishing houses, and working at the publishing houses encouraged him to write his own story.
Dante Maldonado was able to take away such an important lesson from this book.
Taking in that some people aren't rich or normal, some are poor, but we can learn to somehow respect them. And we can be friends with them no matter what. Whether they're short or tall, no matter their size, their weight, we can all be friends with them.
Dante doesn't just speak to his grade level peers, but to anyone and everyone. Although he isn't the only one taking away an important message from this book.
I think that the really big takeaway, I think, is to understand how different everyone's life is at home.
The gift is in the experience, not really the book.
And so together, Lansfield Middle School is coming together to create an impactful future for tomorrow. One school, one book at a time. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Vince Wazotsky.
Well, we probably have extra copies, so.
In recent years, escape rooms have exploded in popularity. Lancaster and Hershey have several locations in which groups can work together to solve riddles and puzzles to break out of their escape rooms.
The first modern escape room was in Japan in 2007. Since then, escape rooms have popped up all over the world. This year, many have struggled with new COVID guidelines, but have found ways to keep it safe and fun.
So an escape room is a puzzle game in which groups are trying to solve different riddles and find clues in order to complete a goal within a time limit.
You go in the room and there's puzzles everywhere and things that are locked, and your goal is to sometimes find a key to escape or sometimes something else, and you want to do that all in 1 hour.
Escape rooms are usually themed and vary in difficulty.
We have a candy factory room, which is a Willy Wonka theme and the Game Boy Candyland theme. And that's the one that we recommend for younger groups or groups that are just getting started that has our highest success rate. We have a 1920s investigation room where you're playing as police officers who are raiding a speakeasy. And so that's our intermediate room. That's a 50% success rate. So that if people want a little bit of a challenge, or if they're just looking for something in the middle of the road, that's the one for them. And then we have our Museum of Magic room, which is our hardest room. That has 2 sections. It has the ancient magic exhibit, which talks a little bit about alchemy and stuff like that. And then the second section is the modern magic exhibit, which is about stage magicians like Houdini.
The Lancaster location has different themes than the Hershey location.
So we have 3 different themed rooms. One is the 50s diner, one is a Greek temple, and one is imposter. We tend to have one that's, easier, moderate, and more challenging. But sometimes we've had people who solve our challenging one and not our easier one, so it's not an exact science.
With a pandemic this year, they are making sure to follow all COVID guidelines and keep both players and workers the safest they can.
Both of our businesses are smaller locations, so we have a lot of control in how much we have to clean and how often we can get it clean.
Do we spray everything and wipe everything in between groups before we would, do a quick wipe between groups and some basic cleaning?
Thing that we've done is we've done a private booking model now. Before COVID, we had spots open for a room and anybody could book those. So if you had a group of 3, you could be paired with another group. And with COVID, we've done away with that model.
Escape rooms have aspects for anyone to enjoy.
The best part about it is that you can bring whoever you want to do it. People that play that just enjoy puzzles. And so it's neat to physically go somewhere and physically do a puzzle as opposed to sitting at home and filling out a crossword. We also have, for more competitive people, we're always keeping track of our room records.
Even our 2 most challenging rooms have really difficult times to beat because they're at 30 minutes. Our newer room only has a time to beat of 50 minutes.
Next time you are looking for a new activity to do while still being safe, maybe consider looking up your neighborhood escape room. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Kirsta Gerland.
When school shut down last spring, everyone was in a frenzy. Luckily, older students easily adapted to virtual learning. Younger students didn't have that luxury. Some teachers at the high school and elementary schools worked with these young learners to help them transition to kindergarten.
Preschool is the foundation of education, but the pandemic caused an entire group of students to miss out on this crucial time.
One. So 5. So you're going to count
No,
5.
Preschool is all about social and emotional development. Here, kids learn how to make choices, work with others, and be away from their parents. And missing this time had effects.
In our preschool program, we have noticed a little bit of changes going on. For example, just like social interaction, many of these children in the spring were at home, and so they didn't have a lot of social interaction with other children. So just learning to share again and learning how to get along with others has been something that we've been focusing on this year.
And teachers are not the only ones who noticed behavioral changes.
I can't do this.
We definitely noticed a change in his behavior. He wasn't around kids, obviously, the whole quarantine time. So we're here trying to teach, and then he has his teenage siblings at home trying to learn on their iPad, and he's kind of just wandering over the house. No one's watching him, and we're taking turns, tag team babysitting practically.
But social skills were not the only concern. Missing educational time can be detrimental and forces the parent to take the role as the teacher.
We work a lot with him at home, and we buy him little programs and little apps on the iPad, and we practice writing his name, and the babysitter right now helps him practice writing his name and stuff. 2, 2, and 2.
2 and 2 is 4.
Jen and her husband are both teachers and have the resources to help Kaden be prepared for kindergarten. But many kids lack this support.
I definitely feel that the students who don't have that home support are the ones that are struggling the most, because the ones who are lucky enough to have a parent who, works from home or doesn't work, they have that learning coach that can be there to support them. But the kids who are being watched maybe by an older sibling that's virtually learning, or sometimes home alone, as a teacher myself, I've noticed those students are the ones kind of being left behind.
Despite the pandemic, the district is still working to ease the transition for the incoming kindergartners.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Wells, and I'm one of the reading specialists here at Rohrstown Elementary School.
Preschool Connections is a program that's run across the district in the elementary schools, and it's a program designed to invite the incoming class of kindergartners into the building so that they can become familiar with the building. They can meet the reading specialist and some of the other teachers.
Since preschoolers can't enter the building, Rohrstown has adapted and created a virtual option.
Here at Rohrstown, we created a flipped grid, and we had the communications department tweet that out so that parents are able to view that flipped grid. So I think we had to be aware this year, especially as, we weren't able to have Preschool Connections last year here at school. Many of our students weren't able to complete a full year of preschool. So it was really an awareness of that for us as reading specialists, our kindergarten teacher being aware of that, and really just, taking the students where they came in at and helping them with their learning from where they were and then moving forward.
The pandemic is brand new, and no one really knows the long-term effects it will have. Behavioral and educational changes in preschoolers are a few effects from quarantining several months. Teachers, parents, and the school district are doing their best to help these young students navigate this time of recovery. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Abby Gingrich.
I can't believe it's almost spring. It's getting so warm out. What's your favorite part of spring, Elizabeth?
Well, my favorite part of spring is getting to go to Roots Market that's here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and buying the fresh produce that they have there.
Roots Market is a countywide staple here in Lancaster. Every summer on Tuesdays, people flock from all around to get their fresh produce.
We're here to ask the stand owners about their transition from the summer season to the winter.
There's actually more customers in the summer because there's more people that don't have school and stuff like that with their young children.
Well, it has, because of the COVID, a lot of people are not coming, and this winter is it was more snow than other years. So
we don't sell as many of our own homegrown things, so sometimes there's a few people who want only homegrown, so they might not get any more. But
why do you like selling your product at Roots Market?
We enjoy being able to make personalized products for people where they get to design what they would like and see their own pictures right on a product and walk away with it just a few minutes later.
Why do you think customers like coming here compared to a big name grocery store?
Well, I think it's the same reason they're working with local business owners. A lot of it's more local produce or local meats, and I think the pricing is generally better than at grocery stores.
From the hustle and bustle of Roots, I'm Ryan French.
And I'm Elizabeth Williams for Hempfield Happenings.
Course selection is a process that takes place here every year at Hempfield. Students choose which class will best benefit them and their schedules the most with the help from their guidance counselors.
Every year, students get to pick which classes they would like through the course selection process. This year, iPads have aided students in being able to select which classes they would like with just the press of a button. Mr. Dietz, 9th grade guidance counselor, helped to give an overview of what goes into the course selection process.
Course selection really starts out with teachers making recommendations for students based on classes that they feel will be best for them next year. After that, students go in to the course selection portal in Power School, and then they look to see what teachers have recommended them for. And then they also have to make decisions about what other classes they want to take next year. So it's really a couple different parts where the teachers get things kicked off, but then the students take over in picking those classes, and then the counselors are here to help guide that process. We're the people that really want to make sure that everything is taken care of and done so that when we get to hopefully the end of the year over the summer, students have the schedule that they need that has classes that they want in it, but also to make sure that they're hitting all of their graduation requirements.
While guidance counselors play an important role in the course selection process, it is ultimately up to students to decide which classes they would like to take.
It was pretty easy to select. There were a lot of choices to pick from. I could pick what I wanted.
There's a lot of options, so the diversity in what you could pick was pretty good, so I like all the different options.
Hempfield High School offers a wide variety of courses, from AP Calculus to creative writing, meaning students are given many options when it comes time for course selection. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Darian Rivard.
Hempfield's Drumline program has changed quite a bit this school year. With lots of new staff members and COVID restrictions, they've still managed to incorporate a new style for this season.
Drumline has been at Hempfield High School for quite some time now, but this year it's looking a little different. With lots of new protocols due to COVID and new staff members, the Drumline is still putting on the same great performances that they always have.
This year, the Drumline has incorporated drill, a new style of drumline that Hempfield has not yet experienced.
Students that have the drums, the marching drums, they do like shapes and such on the floor, and that's what the drill is. So what they do is they kind of interact with each other both by movement and by body and choreography, and that then reflects what the music is portraying. So what you hear, you can also see.
COVID has also thrown Drumline through a loop as their competitions are now all virtual.
We're submitting to a virtual competition, which is the same circuit that we would compete in, but we're doing it virtually. So we're going to send a video in and they are going to adjudicate us remotely, send it back, and then every other week, if we pass it, then we'll be able to submit 2 more videos, hopefully, make it through finals.
Hal Williams is a student in the Drumline program, which consists of a lot more than simply just different kinds of drums. Different instruments all come together to create a large ensemble for their performances.
I play cymbals, we do like visuals and music, and we march around the field and we put on a show, which is like a 7-8 minute long performance where we march around and play instruments and kind of tell a story.
Drumline is a great way for Hempfield students to engage with one another and work together to make one great show, no matter what percussion instrument they choose to play. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Dylan Risser.
Many people don't know the time and effort put in behind the scenes of live production to make sure everything looks show-worthy in the end.
Many people have been to a theater, however they don't usually understand all that goes on behind the curtain. Hempfield High School has their own theater arts club, or stage crew, and they work on a variety of parts of a production.
I think stage crew is an area where students can find something that they enjoy. We need a mix of those people, whether they have technical skills on computers or projection or lighting or sound, or just want to help out on stage. This is a place that everyone can be included.
Currently, the Fulton Theater is closed to the public in precaution with COVID-19. However, that doesn't mean they haven't stopped working on what the audience can't see.
The Fulton was one of the only theaters in the country still using a hemp system. And if you're unfamiliar with that, that is the ropes that people pull to raise and lower backdrops and set pieces. And they were weighted by sandbags. I remember during Billy Elliot's opening night, a sandbag busted and we had to stop the show so it could be cleaned up. So anyway, we are now fully automated, which is great. We did not have a stage right. As soon as you went off the stage, you were pretty much at a wall. So we couldn't store set pieces on that side of the stage. We couldn't do really anything except maybe a few props. So we knocked out that wall. So now we have a full stage right.
And while the Fulton Theater is getting ready for their eventual reopening, Hempfield High School is already working on the next production of Fame.
I think people don't realize how much it takes to put all those pieces together. The lighting, the sound, the scenery, the costumes, the makeup, and most people associate it with the performers, with the singers and dancers and all those pieces coming together. But there's so many other elements in putting together the shows that Hempfield does so the lighting, the sound, the scenery takes many, many hours and a lot of expertise to get those things to come across as professional as they do here.
So whether you're watching a high school or professional show, you can be sure that there is more going on behind the scenes and sets than you can see. And for Hempfield Happenings, I'm Paige Harrington.
Hunger has always been an issue in the world, but with the pandemic, the struggle has only gotten worse.
So either that or...
Hunger is a growing issue throughout the nation, and people here in Pennsylvania, Lancaster, and Hempfield are helping to combat this growing issue. Food insecurity is when there is a struggle to get food because of money or lack of resources. According to Feeding America, 50 million people in the U.S. face hunger every day. Community Action Program in downtown Lancaster helps to combat this by collecting and distributing food donations.
We work with different types of government grants and donated food and donated funds to fight hunger in Lancaster County and make sure that food pantries all have what they need to feed their clients.
In Pennsylvania alone, 1.5 million people struggle with hunger. Food distributors like CAP help smaller pantries feed locals in need.
Would you like coffee, tea, cocoa?
The Hummelstown Food Bank at Trinity United Methodist Church gives out groceries once a week to community members who need a little extra help.
With everything going on in this day and age, people losing their jobs, people have illnesses that take their money, and this way we can at least try and make sure everybody has food that needs it. No, we just want people to know that if they need help, we are here. And I know some people are very hesitant to ask for help, but that's why we're here. Please take advantage of it if you need it.
But food pantries are not the only way community members can help fight hunger.
Hempfield Power Packs is an affiliate of the Power Packs project in the city. And what we do is we pack bags of food each week for families in the Hempfield School District. And it allows them to have a nutritious meal over the weekend.
Power Packs provides about 110 Hempfield families with meals, and it truly is a group effort.
Our food comes mainly from the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. We order it each week. We are able to get our milk and our meats and many other things. But we also have donations from the community. Various organizations have done food drives for us.
Where would you like it? Okay.
I think that the Power Packs program is awesome for our community. I think some people view the Hempfield community like they're well off, and this problem or this need wouldn't exist in this community, and there is. And I think it's important that we help that need.
Food is not a privilege, and when living in such an unpredictable time, it's important to give help when you can and ask for help when you need it. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Abby Gingrich.
Thank you for tuning in to this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings.
We hope you join us for next month's April show.